things real happening to them Lucians. Look out for us again soon. We go show you all more.
St. Lucia is at a crossroads. Mismanagement, incompetence, and rising crime under the Philip J. Pierre administration have left us all struggling. But under Alan Chasney's leadership, our country flourished. Taxes were lowered, 17 health centers were upgraded, the OKE hospital opened, over $12 million in hospital bills were wiped clean, lifting a burden off of our people. Construction of the state-of-the-art St. Jude Hospital began. The forensic lab was reopened. Homicides were 25% lower than they are today. New schools were built, 30% of our roads rehabilitated, and sports facilities across the country received major upgrades, empowering our youth. He successfully led us through the COVID-19 pandemic, winning global recognition for St. Lucia's top care management. Alan Chasney, strong leadership to save our St. Lucia.
Life in St. Lucia has become unbearable. Every day, we feel the crushing weight of a government that's out of touch with the struggles of its people. They've collected millions in taxes on fuel, leaving us paying more for gasoline, cooking gas, kerosene, and diesel. And as if that wasn't enough, the Health and Security Levy has made everything more expensive, adding an additional 2.5% to the cost of goods and services. Bus fares have gone up, bread costs more, electricity, water, food, internet, even your mobile credit, it all costs more. For many St. Lucians, their paychecks don't stretch like they used to. Meanwhile, the government has reduced subsidies on flour, making basic necessities harder to afford. And while they raise prices on you, they've removed 700 people from the public assistance list, leaving our most vulnerable families with no support. St. Lucia is paying the price for a government that refuses to care. How much more can we take? How many more sacrifices must we make while they mismanage our country's finances? It's time to fight back, to stand up for our families, our future, and our country. No more excuses, no more broken promises. We can't afford to stay silent. The high cost of living is suffocating us, but together we can make our voices heard. St. Lucia deserves better. Pierre Pabo.
Senator Lisa Joahir, who also serves as the communications director for the St. Lucia Labour Party, continues to blatantly lie and deceive St. Lucians. In a recent press brief, the SLP spokeswoman tried to deny that St. Lucia's agriculture sector declined by 17% in 2023. These are the facts according to the 2023 Social and Economic Review, a document prepared by the Ministry of Finance. On page 32, Senator Lisa Joahir, who also serves as the communications director for the St. Lucia Labour Party, continues to blatantly lie and deceive St. Lucians. In a recent press brief, the SLP spokeswoman tried to deny that St. Lucia's agriculture sector declined by 17% in 2023. These are the facts according to the 2023 Social and Economic Review, a document prepared by the Ministry of Finance. On page 32, the opening paragraph reads, "Based on preliminary estimates, the agriculture sector's real value added declined by 17% in 2023. It went further on pages 33 to 38 to highlight the decline in the various agriculture subsectors. Fishing production declined by 4.6%. Livestock production declined by 17.3%. Chicken production declined by 11.7%. Pork production declined by 41.6%. Egg production declined by 7.8%. Banana production declined by 45.5%. Non-banana crops declined by 17.3%, and regional exports of bananas declined by 54%. The future of St. Lucia's food security is in jeopardy under Labour. The UWP has a plan and is ready to right the wrongs of this reckless SLP administration. Our farmers and fisherfolk deserve better. Lisa, Prosper, and Philippe Pierre, pas bon."
At a recent briefing, Prime Minister Philippe Pierre claimed that the custody suites project has been delayed due to bathroom sinks and toilets breaking during shipment. Not just once, but twice.
There were a series of unfortunate events. Number one, there was supposed to have the toilets, the special toilets. They got broken. When in shipping. My information is they will send back to all the new ones, and then the yellow ones came and they sent back the same broken ones. So my information, you see, and a lot.
But here's the truth. The sinks and toilets designed for prison facilities are made of stainless steel, built to withstand extreme conditions and nearly impossible to break in transit. The Prime Minister's claim doesn't add up. This project was initially estimated to cost $1.5 million. Somehow, that budget tripled to $4.5 million, and now there are reports that the costs have spiraled even higher. With every delay and excuse, taxpayers are forced to bear the burden of rising costs, while the government dodges accountability. Why isn't Prime Minister Pierre giving the people the truth about what's really causing the delays and escalating the costs? St. Lucia deserves a leader who takes responsibility, not one who resorts to dubious excuses. Our country demands transparency and honesty, not stories that simply don't hold water.
In 2019, the Alan Chasney-led United Workers' Party took decisive action to address the healthcare challenges faced by St. Lucians. The UWP secured a US $20 million loan from the World Bank under the Health Systems Strengthening Project. Out of this loan, US $5.5 million was specifically allocated to establish the framework for a national health insurance program. Under this initiative, every St. Lucian would have received up to $75,000 in healthcare coverage on an annual basis, making healthcare more accessible, equitable, and affordable for all. An advisory board of experts, including Dr. Stephen King and Dr. Clarke, was assembled to design the framework for this transformative program. However, when the Philip J. Pierre administration took office, they chose to abandon this initiative. Why? Simply because it was started by the United Workers' Party. The consequences of this decision are devastating. Families continue to struggle with medical expenses, hospitals remain overwhelmed, and St. Lucians are left without the healthcare safety net they were excitedly expecting. Where is the accountability? Where is the vision? We would not be facing the current health crisis if the NHI program had been implemented. The National Health Insurance Program was never about politics. It was about people. It would ensure every St. Lucian had access to the care they deserve. Let's set the record straight. The health of our nation should never be sacrificed for politics. It's time to demand a healthcare system that St. Lucians deserve. Labour, Pabo.
On October 20th, 2024, at the SLP's Conference of Delegates in Vieux-Fort, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre made a desperate attempt to rewrite history.
You will remember that the United Workers' Party only gave COVID support to NIC contributors.
This claim is absolutely false. The truth? In July 2020, under the UWP administration, 5,000 St. Lucians who were non-contributors of NIC received $500 per month for 3 months to help them survive the pandemic. Prime Minister Pierre knows the facts, yet he chose to lie to the nation. Why? To mislead and divide. St. Lucia deserves a leader who values integrity, one who speaks the truth, not one who tries to twist it. Pierre Pabo. We need real leadership, not deception. Youth and Sports Minister Kenson Casimir has been caught blatantly lying about the delays with several disciplines related to national school sports. On October 23, 2024, an article published by Terry Finisterre, a well-known sports journalist and a close political ally of Minister Casimir, penned an article titled School Sports Suspended. The story went on to explain that secondary student athletes in St. Lucia would be denied an opportunity to showcase their talents and abilities this term as school sports has been suspended. It went further to say that this term faced the unusual interruption due to the Julian Alfred homecoming in September. According to Finisterre, one official who wished to remain anonymous told him that the disruption in instruction occasioned by the week of activities, including school rallies and a holiday, in addition to the resources that went into planning the festivities, were all a factor in deciding to cull sports. It is therefore disingenuous and a blatant lie on the part of Minister Casimir to accuse the UWP of fabricating this issue when it was first brought to light by his close friend and colleague. Attempts to salvage the issue were only made due to significant public pressure over the last 2 weeks. Our young athletes deserve leaders who will prioritize their development, not make excuses. It's time for transparency, accountability, and truth. St. Lucia deserves a government that values youth empowerment, not one that sidelines it. Kenson Pabo.
Are you ready to make a difference? Join the movement that aims to make St. Lucia the best place to live, work, visit, and invest. The United Workers' Party is a team of forward thinkers, visionaries, passionate and caring citizens just like you. Together, we can create a brighter future, create safer communities, lower taxes, improve healthcare, and create more opportunities for all. Stand with the UWP and be part of change. Join the United Workers' Party because St. Lucia deserves better.
Youth and Sports Minister Kenson Casimir is under fire now that it has been revealed that he has acquired millions worth of real estate over the last 3.5 years. Since assuming office, Casimir has developed 3 villas in Union Hilltop. He is now in the process of constructing another development in Cap Estate, this time with 5 properties. What makes this transaction suspicious is that Casimir made a $100,000 cash deposit on the property. The total cost of the property is about $273,000. Compounding the situation is that a contractor, who is also a political financier of Casimir, is the one developing the minister's newly acquired Cap Estate property. This same contractor was awarded a multi-million-dollar contract for rehabilitation work done on the Darren Sammy cricket ground in preparation for World Cup cricket, as well as numerous other contracts in the constituency of Grosley. The allegations being leveled against the minister is that he has received kickbacks from the contractor for the Cap Estate development in return for the awarding of multi-million-dollar contracts around the constituency. Has Casimir filed these developments with the Integrity Commission? Prime Minister Fevrier claimed that he would have a zero tolerance for corruption in his cabinet, although he has ignored numerous glaring examples of corruption. Has Casimir filed these developments with the Integrity Commission? Prime Minister Fevrier claimed that he would have a zero tolerance for corruption in his
Thank you. I'd like you to please remain standing as I call on Mr. Philippe Jean-Baptiste, who will lead us in a word of prayer.
Thank you. Let's pray. All the men have your caps off your head, as the old people used to say. Father Lord, we thank you for strength. We thank you for health. We ask you to give us wisdom to be able to understand ourselves and all what we will be learning that is very new to us, so that we have ammunition when we get back to our constituency, to be able to combat with our enemy. So at the end of the day, when election time comes, the United Workers' Party would say we work hard and therefore we are claiming victory. Let everyone understand each other, because we have a right to respect everybody's views and opinion. And when we leave here, that we can get to our home safely. And thank you for the weather you've provided for us today, because this morning I never thought we would have had this weather. As you can see, that the United Workers' Party is a blessed party. Help us to unite with each other. Those who haven't seen each other or don't know each other, mingle with us and have a good time. In your blessed name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jean-Baptiste. You may please have a seat. And ladies and gentlemen, as we begin, we would like to pay tribute to some of our stalwarts who have recently passed. And from Castries South, we have Mr. Thomas Antoine, Miss Theresa Hollenseed, Mr. Robert Joseph. From Castries Central, Miss Unita Jane Jean. And well, that's it. I don't think we have any from North, East, or South. So our prayers go out to their families and friends of these members of the Flabo family. May their soul rest in peace. And today, we want to acknowledge some of our stalwarts, some of our soldiers who are celebrating birthdays. From Castries North, we have Marcella Monrose. A very happy birthday to you. Castries South, we have Lana Sue Fortune. She is the secretary of the branch. Of course, originally from Castries Central, we have an individual who now resides in the diaspora, but he is always with us at Flabo Live, and you always hear his voice on any Flabo talk show. I am talking about the man himself, Ian Cauldron, who is living in New York currently. And we want to wish you all the best, Ian. And let me take this opportunity to welcome all of those who are in the diaspora who have joined us, who consistently join us, whether it is our talk shows, our Flabo Lives, our press briefings. We do appreciate the interest and concern that you continue to show about your homeland, St. Lucia. Okay, a special birthday greeting to Mr. Peter Polius from Denry North as well. And if there is any other birthdays, let us know. We will acknowledge and recognize you during the course of the show. And I just want you to know that, you know, the announcement will not cost you very much. We have a solid bar downstairs, so, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, it is again a pleasure to bring to you the message of the March to Victory, the message to the people of St. Lucia, the message of the United Workers' Party, the vehicle that we are going to use in the upcoming general election to right the wrong. And so, ladies and gentlemen, today our speakers will be concentrated mainly from the general Castries Basin. And I mentioned the constituencies to you: Castries North, Castries South, Castries Central, Castries East, and Castries Southeast. So we'll be hearing from all of those constituencies. But to set the ball rolling for today, this evening's Flabo Live, I would like to call on a young man who hails, I think, originally from Castries North, but straddles Castries Central and other constituencies. He is well known to us by now, one of the young Flabo Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call to the podium Senator Joshua Harrow of Castries North.
Gonna make it right as I turn up the collarbone. My favorite.
Come on, let's clap. Come on.
This wind is blowing my mind.
That's it. Come on.
I see the kids in the street, but not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A sonorous disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the window, 'cause they got nowhere.
Y'all know this part. Come on, let me hear you. My Flabo! You see, I love that song because that song is the theme of my speech tonight. The mirror, the change, and the choice. You see, tonight I do not stand before you with just a script. I stand with a sacred responsibility. I do not come wrapped in political loyalty or personal ambition. I come wrapped in the cries of my generation. The silence of forgotten communities, the dreams of children who have no playgrounds, and the trauma of youth who have become veterans of war they never signed up for. You see, this is not a performance. This is a prophecy, and it's so fulfilling to have this on Sunday. This is not a speech. This is a mirror, and this mirror will not flatter you. It will reflect. And when you look into it, you will not see red or yellow. You will see yourself, your pain, your worth, your power, and your purpose. Amen? Amen. You see, the great Errol Barrow once says, what kind of mirror image do you have of yourself? And tonight, I ask you the same, not to accuse you, but simply just to awaken you. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we stand at a crossroads, but what I've realized is that St. Lucia is in a spiritual battle, right? Our youth are not lazy as some of them claim. They are leaders waiting. They simply require those to move aside and allow them to come into rule. Our women are powerful. They are not weak. They are the pillars of our strength. Our men are not monsters. They are misrepresented and mistreated by those in the parliamentary chambers. You see, they cry out. We cry out. And simply the other day, and I love this story, I met a teacher. And the teacher told me that she had to confiscate a weapon from a young man. But the young man needed the weapon because he couldn't go home, because there were gangs waiting for him in Castries. Imagine as a teacher, you have to sit down and decide whether you're going to pay the high gas price to drop the children home or let them go in town to battle their worst nightmares. What kind of freedom is this when children wear fear like a school uniform? And what about our young women? Some of them become victims of the inadequacies of society, selling themselves to be able to afford the basic concepts of society. Survival is not a sin, ladies and gentlemen, but the silence of leaders are. You see, we tell young people to go and get an education, and they do and they excel. They come back with degrees earned by sweat and sacrifice, and what do they return to? An economy so broken, it cannot recognize the international brilliance of our own children. How do we build a future when we're still imprisoned in the past? How do we nurture young mothers when we cannot even nurture our own nation? Why must Helen, our symbol and our soul, keep going through labor pains with no delivery room? Soon she will suffer a miscarriage of her future because we refuse to nurture her through the present. You see, I heard my member for Castries South, Tommy Descartes, mention peerflation. Tommy, I'm going to take it much deeper. We're facing peer pressure. A government shaped by pressure, one that suffocates dreams, strangles innovation, and slaps a band-aid on the bullet holes of society. You see, peer pressure is what happens when a government waves a flag of emancipation but funds policies of irrelevance. It is the weight of being told your future matters, while the very future crashes under poverty, under education, under representation. I've understood we have a misrepresentative for Castries Central, but the new member will address that when he comes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not theory, this is trauma. And trauma becomes legacy when it is left untreated. Peer pressure is silent, but it is deadly. You see, this government says that $5 can patch a hole, right? But let me ask you, how much does it cost to patch a bullet hole? How much does it cost to patch the holes left in families who've lost their sons, their daughters, their sisters, their brothers, their mothers, and fathers to gun violence? What is the cost of silence when a child is gunned down before they ever became a memory? You see how ironic and cruel and heartless that while our leaders boast of a budget, which the IMF did claim was inflated, a child not yet born was murdered in the womb. And a child never opened their eyes, never saw this world, never felt the warmth of love or the promise of life. Now I want you to picture it, because I had to see it for myself last week. A mother lying lifeless and her baby beside her, still, silent, and never have taken a breath. Are we okay with this? No. This is not governance. This is grave tending, and it must stop. You see, The youth is the stone the builders rejected, which has now become the cornerstone. Under this administration, for 3 years, I looked for a job. I went to Sa'afa. I did everything that I had to do. I couldn't get a job. Now the stone that they have rejected is sitting across for them in Parliament, in Senate. The Bible says that he will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. And every time I see them across from me in Senate, and I feel as though the Lord has anointed me to be like David. Because Goliath will be slain. You see, we, the youth, are that stone, but we have been rejected. We have not remained as rubble. We are the cornerstones of a new St. Lucia. Now, I want to address this because emancipation has passed. St. Lucia, let us not pretend that racism is a foreign demon. It lives here too, quiet, systematic, and subtle. We speak of unity, yet colorism breeds in our silence. We say we love blackness, yet whiteness still defines beauty, power, and privilege. Psychologists call it internalized oppression. I call it spiritual wickedness in high places. It is sad when a young black girl hears your hair is too hard before she hears you are beautiful. It is sad when a boy dark as mahogany is told he looks too aggressive to be professional. It's when a qualified woman is passed over not for the lack of skill, but for the shade of her skin or her gender. It is when a government praises diversity on paper, but promotes a hierarchy of complexion in its appointments. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not just about race, it's about self-worth. About generations taught to bow their heads even while wearing crowns. You see, for the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7. It even goes further and it says, if the Son sets you free, you shall be free indeed. John 8, 3:16. So I want to hear the people say so, because the redeemed of the Lord says so. Let us be free, not just in law, but in language, in leadership, and in love. You see, our flag contains the colors black and white, both representing the people. And until both live in justice, that flag is not a declaration, it is a decoration. We wave it high while our youth fall low. We frame it on walls while they fade behind bars. Let us be honest. We cannot claim unity if the systems beneath us whisper division. You see, Errol Barrow asked, what kind of mirror image do you have of yourself? And if that mirror image shows brokenness, we must ask, who broke us? And who benefits from us staying broken? He also said, if there are corrupt ministers, you have made them corrupt by accepting their bribes and their low-down offers, by selling democracy for $500, for $1,000. Is that a prostitution of democracy? Well, St. Lucia, is there still silence in our streets? It is because we're taught to mistake survival for success. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we must think higher. We must speak louder. We must demand more, because we are not the children of fate. We are simply the architects of destiny. So let the nation weep, not out of shame, but out of renewal. Let the silence break, not with violence, but with visions. This is not a rebellion. This is righteousness. This is prophecy with a microphone. This is the generation that will not beg for rescue. We are the builders of our own rescue boats. We are building our own version of Noah's arks because we have understood the assignment of the Most High God. So tonight I speak not just to present, but to the future. To every mother, every teacher, every vendor, and every youth. I want you to go home and ask yourselves, what am I doing to break the chains that still exist? To every minister still hiding behind protocol, let the people's pain be your portfolio. To every voice wondering if it's too small, the walls of Jericho fell with a shout. So shout. Let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like the mighty stream. This is not just a speech. This is your mirror. This is your movement. This is your mandate. So let's wake up and step aside or be replaced. St. Lucia, let us celebrate our young people. And I would like to celebrate Troy, who spoke in Babonneau, who spoke very well. And I'd like to recognize Emily, who came on the platform and spoke very well. I want to recognize all of our Flubber youth who are coming on the platforms and doing what it takes to get St. Lucia where it needs to be. That is courage. Out of eternal darkness, let there be Flubbo. Thank you very much.
The United Workers' Party reaffirms its unwavering commitment to the health and well-being of every St. Lucian. When re-elected, we will reinstate the National Health Insurance NHI program, a vital initiative that was regrettably abandoned by the St. Lucia Labour Party, the SLP. This decision by the SLP has left thousands of St. Lucians vulnerable with limited access to affordable, quality health care. The United Workers' Party. Gentlemen, you just felt the power of Flabo. The flame is certainly shining brightly. What a future this country has with this party called the United Workers' Party. And all I can say is, what did I say? I told you so. We have the future of this country in this party. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard, I introduced him as one of the young lions. You heard for yourself. But with the youth in this party, I am comfortable, I am confident, and I am consoled by the fact that we have passed on the torch to a new generation that is more than competent and capable to do the job at hand, and we can rely and count on them. I neglected to wish everyone a happy Emancipation weekend. Friday was Emancipation Day. I heard the Prime Minister address the nation, and all he did was put on show his paranoia as an individual. And for a man who leads a country to lack inspiration to the extent that Philip Pierre does, that is a disservice to this country. And I say, if you cannot open your mouth after 4 years in government to say anything good to the people of St. Lucia without pointing fingers at the opposition, then I think we should go in the direction you are pointing and appoint the opposition. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I will talk a little more on this on my show. Let me take an opportunity to wish one of our candidates, Mrs. Laura Jean-Pierre Noël, a happy anniversary today. And later on, I have a few announcements to make of events that are upcoming, and of course, to tell you about the shows that are coming this week, because things are heating up, and the United Workers' Party is up to the task, and we are up to the challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, the cleanup job that we have to do is mammoth. We have to start by cleaning out a few individuals. Foremost among them is El Guapo Richard Frederick in Central Castries. As a country, we deserve better than to have such despicable individuals, a figure like Richard Frederick, who has been castigated, condemned and vilified by the very same party that he is now a part of. We have a lot of mess to clean up. And some of the work that has to be done has to be championed by our youth. Some of the work that has to be done has to be championed by our youth. And I can tell, and I know, that the young lions of this party are ready and capable to do the job. Ladies and gentlemen, I will delay no more because the time is drawing nigh and we have no time to waste. We are starting with Castries Central. And I want to call on the Dragon Slayer who will once and for all rid St. Lucia of that disgusting figure called Richard Frederick. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, to address you now, our next parliamentary representative for Castries Central. Let me get myself used to the idea of saying it. The Honorable Rosh Clarke, who will address you. Don't worry yourself, Richard just got a few minutes more. Mr. DJ, if you can get the song, just tell me, I'll sing it a cappella. Okay, while we wait for the DJ to play the introductory song, let me just inform you that we have a number of events coming up. And I just want to start with the diaspora. The usual barbecue that takes place for Labor Day will be taking place on the 31st of August in Brooklyn. Later on in the show, I'll give you the actual address and everything so that you who are in St. Louis traveling to the diaspora, be sure to make your appearance there. Are we ready now, Mr. DJ? Okay, I think we are ready now.
Things must get better. Don't you go down, keep your head above the water. Stay. One day, things must get better. Be strong, and I say, well, I for meditation. One day, things must get better. Don't you go down, keep your head above the water. One day, things must get better. The rich is wise in his own conceit, but the fool with overstand.
Mamai Flabo! Mamai Flabo! Good night, my people of St. Lucia. Good night, my people of the Castries Basin. Good night, my congregation. But before I start, I would like for us to give a listening ear to a short clip.
4 people were shot last night in the community of Graveyard, with authorities confirming that 2 victims have died. One of them, a pregnant woman.
St. Lucia, the servant again. Yeah. Every day my rise me here and next man drop. Gunshot I echo you, the place get hot. Ferdinand Cal get catching at the trap. 6 month belly, now she lay upon top. Papa cry, mama tears full the train. Graveyard sad, whole island feel pain. Hospital full youth dead for a gold chain. Still the 6 and 7 warring in. When it a go end, young girl dead and she will be life end. When it a go end, 6 and 7 no more fi defend. When it a go end, Lord put her on me, so when it a go end. Me see it in a school and little youths a war. Them idolize bad man like movie star. Cross street and back a tell can't come. Youths a walk the street with matic in a hand. Mama say put down the gun, take a stand, but nobody listen, them a follow wrong plan. Island small and cemetery can't expand. Lotion, paradise, up your blood in a the land it a go end. Young girl dead and she baby life end. When it a go end. 6 and
a country bleeding from every corner, from the corners of Wilton's Yard to the corners of Bruceville, from the streets of New Village to the streets of Marsha, from the community of Bexar to the village in Dennery. This country is standing in the mess of a failed system. So how many more mothers must scream over the coffin? How many more dead bodies must we find in the gutter, in the middle of the street, in the center of the city, in broad daylight, on Derek Walcott Square? Let's not forget. Let's not walk around with selective memory. The state of crime in this country is sickening. And at this stage, the Castries Basin is practically on life support. A vicious cycle of crime that is affecting our mental health, where even our young people have become numb to the pain of loss. Depression becomes desperation. Desperation now leads to more crime. And more crime apparently leads to more silence from the same men and women whose job it is for them to speak out on this situation. But it's easier for this government to stay silent, to hold a press briefing and focus on the United Workers' Party than addressing the bloodshed that is happening in this country. It is easier for them to spin the narrative than to comfort our mothers, than to protect our children, than to face the truth. The numbers don't lie. And just last year, we were coming from record-breaking homicide rate of 77, only to find ourselves back on this bloody path this year. But let us not forget. Let us not forget those who have been wounded, those who have been scarred by bullets, and those who are still living in fear. While these so-called leaders stay silent, while our pain to them is nothing. Where are the representatives? Do they not feel what we feel? Do they not see what we see? Do these representatives have a mentality of better you than me? Who benefits from any of this chaos? Who is profiting from this? Are we left to believe that there are some representatives that have structured and actually are the architects behind all of this? If not, say so. Tell us. Tell us how are we supposed to expect better from the youth when our own representative is the very face of lawlessness itself? Tell us how we can expect the youth to respect the law when their own misrepresentative is surrounded with allegations of corruption, domestic abuse, and even murder. You see the hypocrisy? We arrest a young man over a joint, but we glorify one that we have been told is a drug baron. We jail the poor man who steals to eat, but we promote the one who launders millions behind closed doors. We preach values in schools, but in parliament, we embrace a misrepresentative who bullies the vulnerable and belittles our women. Gone are the days when we could say there were better days. Right now, we have bloodier nights. We've gone from putting people first to putting people in body bags. We've allowed a system to have the police become El Guapo's personal enforcers. Evidence conveniently disappears. Investigations die to protect the powerful. And the impacts report is buried to shield the real crime syndicates. I tell you, my people, a nation is a reflection of its leaders. And on this Emancipation Weekend, we see two sides of the same coin. On one side, a representative who uses his platform to speak vengeance, antics, a show, a circus act with a mic and a grudge. The actual face of a frog, not a disguise, that has mastered the art of deception, victimize the people and vilify the critics. Someone who has been poisoned with personal vendetta, who speaks racial attacks to show division amongst whites, blacks, and Indians. I kid you not, right now, persons that even look like me are being called the Douglas. Imagine that. And on the other hand, you have a prime minister that takes no accountability, none whatsoever. Because as far as he's concerned, he's already made it loud and clear. He not doctor, he not priest, he not economist, he not police. I say debatees. So, Mr. Prime Minister, I'll say this again. He not doctor, he not priest. He not economist, he not police. Hey. Mr. Prime Minister, since you are clearly frustrated with the crime situation, allow me to emancipate your thinking with a few options. Take action every day on safety. Improve basic things as the street lights. And launch neighborhood watch programs that actually allow the power to be coming back to the hands of the people. Support the families, not only on the days of the funeral, but with counseling, with representation that shows when you most need it. Actually establish and sustain emergency trauma response units, ones that can actually create a better environment to protect and uplift our young people. Because, in case you did not know, Mr. Prime Minister, you cannot clean up crime by idealizing the corrupt. You cannot stop gang warfare when the highest offices act like gangs themselves. You cannot demand respect when the people in charge are the most disrespectful of all. Kenny Anthony, a man that speaks very carefully, said it clearly. Richard Fevrier is the most dangerous thing to happen to our St. Lucian politics. Now, allow me to elaborate that. The Oxford Dictionary defines a thing as an entity, an object, a creature that cannot be specifically described. Keniki Disa, Pamwe. He didn't call the man dangerous because the man is well influenced or is connected. He called the man dangerous because this man has no shame. Sir John Compton did not call him comrade. He didn't call him friend. What did he call him? He called him Barabbas. The criminal chosen over Jesus Christ. Read our Bibles, you know. 2 former prime ministers, 2 separate political parties. The same warning. Imagine that. This man needs to be wrapped with caution tape, both yellow and red. with a warning label written across it, hazardous towards humanity. Because I am trying to understand this and I need probably your assistance. You mean to tell me both former prime ministers lying on you? The United Workers' Party lying on you? The United States Embassy lying on you? Every right-thinking St. Lucian lying on you? Your tooth material. And that's the same dangerous thing we put into the office of the Prime Minister. Mettez Monsieur l'autre côté. Bali ministry power jeté. My people, what we have right in front of us is a unique opportunity to change the corrupted ways in which things are operating. The code is yellow, and I want us to come out elections day to ensure we do what is right, to right the wrong. That's right. Thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, at least the future is bright. You know, I listened very carefully when Rosh was speaking, and I cannot recall everything he says, to be honest with you, but something that stuck with me when he said, Barabbas was the criminal chosen over Jesus. And I'm just thinking, who was the criminal chosen over Kenny? Anyway, I'll work that out. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, some very, very profound words by a young man. You know, here we are expecting better from the youth when our representative is the face of crime. Profound words. We can do better. We have to do better. We must do better, and we will do better. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Flambeau Live for you. I must say, this Flambeau has the brightest flames that I have ever experienced. I keep arguing with my Flambeau friends. I say to them, when I came into the Flambeau, we were burning kerosene. Today, we're burning benzene. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we move along, there's one man who is chiefly responsible for our woes in this country, and that is the Prime Minister of this country. And as Rosh told you, he's not a doctor, he's not a teacher, he's not a police. Somebody in the crowd said he's a mistake. Rosh also forgot to tell you he is no prime minister. And also, I know someone who will tell you he is no representative. So, The mission of this party, I want to remind you once again, is to right the wrong. So, let us start righting the wrong. I want to call on a young man who will be responsible for ensuring that we give Castries East a representative and we rid St. Lucia of a man who is not a prime minister. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Peter Chiquot to the podium.
Got to find a solution to this pollution. Yeah. Got to find a solution to this pollution. Oh, got to find a solution to this pollution. The poor man I feel it go out. The poor man I feel it yeah. Philip. The poor man I feel it go out. The poor man feel it yeah.
Good evening to everybody. You all realize I did not say Mama Flambeau. I'm speaking to every St. Lucian, including the members, supporters of the St. Lucia Labour Party. I want to say to them, today is a new day, one day closer to the general election. Today, we, the people of St. Lucia, are standing against corruption, the bullying by government ministers who continue to verbally and psychologically abuse us as citizens. They attack everyone who speak up against their policies and the failing government. Today, my brothers and sisters, we are saying, I say, I say. We fed up. Today, we are calling on the Prime Minister, Philip Joseph Pierre, for his failure to protect the people of St. Lucia. Over the past 4 years, Philip Pierre's silence says that he doesn't care about our lives. He doesn't care about the criminality and the killings that are happening in our country. During his government, St. Lucia have seen unprecedented killings, particularly through gun violence. In 2021, there were 74 recorded murders, a historic high. With 25 between January to July, 49 happened from the day Philip Pierre became Prime Minister to the 31st of December 2021. We had 49 murders. Gentle people, the numbers keep climbing. In 2022, we saw an increase to 76, while in 2023, 75 were recorded. However, in 2024, the number increased to 77 murders. 2025 is on course to surpass the previous years, with approximately 45 murders already. In July alone, we saw a mass shooting in Wilton's Yard, leaving 3 dead, including a 7-month-old unborn baby. How could you kill a 7-month-old unborn baby? Because they shot her and killed her. They shot her and killed her, the baby's mother, when she was 7 months pregnant. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that's supposed to reach the hearts of every St. Lucian. Not only St. Lucians who support the United Workers' Party, St. Lucians who support the St. Lucia Labour Party as well. Philip Pierre, you were nowhere to be found. A few days later, another mass shooting in Black Malay, in your very constituency, where 7 persons were shot, leaving 2 dead, including a 15-year-old. The month of July 2025 has recorded at least 18 killings, making July 2025 the most bloody month in the history of St. Lucia, under the watch of the St. Lucia Labour Party and Philip Joseph Pierre. Of the 5 victims who sustained gunshot wounds in Black Malay, 1 was critically injured. Thankfully, he is recovering nicely at his home. The others are still nursing gunshot wounds, including 2 women. Still, there has not been a word from the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Crime Prevention, or any of the females in the St. Lucia Labour Party. It burns my heart, people, it burns my heart. But the killing of Kwame forced you not only to make a statement, but you showed up on the crime scene just minutes after the shooting. Philippe Pierre, was Kwame's life more important to you than the lives of the 7-month pregnant Troya St. Martin or her 7-month unborn baby? Was Kwame's life more important than the life of the 15-year-old and the other gentleman from Toulouse, or the gentleman from Arundel Hill, who were all members of your constituency, Castries, and for the matter, from any other constituency? Philippe Pierre, St. Lucia deserves better. Castries East, you deserve better. Under the watch of Prime Minister Philip Joseph Pierre, St. Lucia has seen at least 323 murders. My question is whether Kwame's life was worth more than the 323 victims who succumbed to the unprecedented, senseless killings that has kept him silent about it or the lives of the families. Philippe Pierre, we as citizens ask, was there a special relationship between you and your dead comrade Kwame? Why would it take his death to force you to break your silence? What are you doing about the other family members who were impacted by senseless violence haunting this country? You claim to know who is in the background, yet you refuse to give the police information to expose these persons. Instead, what did you do? You disbanded the K9 unit. You discontinued the CCTV program. You deliberately remained silent. So my brothers and sisters, as a St. Lucian who have served St. Lucia, it pains me to retire from service and sit there doing nothing to help the people of St. Lucia, especially the constituents of Castries. And so, Philippe Pierre, as Minister of National Security and Prime Minister, because you have proven to be incompetent and devoid of any sound policies and solutions to deal with the unprecedented rise in crime, if I were never interested in politics, then the indiscriminate killing of our young men and women gives me all the reason why I should offer myself to assist in the development of sound policies and programs to deal with this criminality and criminals causing this mayhem in this country. If I had no intention of getting involved in politics, then the deliberate silence of the government on the level of crime and the abuse of women by your minister, who needs help, gives me all the reasons to represent the voiceless and most vulnerable in our country. If I were never interested in politics, then the ineptitude of this government and the lack of honesty and transparency with CIP, the Connells Project, BMAX, GPH, the sale of Banan's land, and Rovergate, which is very close to my heart, and the corruption happening in the government is the reason for me to get involved in restoring the good name of St. Lucia. If I have had no reason to enter politics, your neglect of Castries after winning 6 consecutive elections give me a reason to enter, to improve and make meaningful change for improvement in the lives of the people of St. Lucia, especially the people of Castries. If I were never interested in politics, after seeing the conditions that you have as a parliamentary representative, have the people of Castries East living, especially the people from the Marshall Boulevard, Bocage, Tourouge, Rockall, Black Malay, Wavin to 12, Menadil, Bacatel, Bishop Gap, and the other areas within the community. That gives me all the reasons to offer myself to assist in the making of a better life for them. If I were never interested in politics, as a sportsman in the community who was given an opportunity to represent my country after seeing the death of sports in Castries, gives me the reason to offer myself to re-engineer and redevelop sports in Castries and to improve sports in St. Lucia in general. So my message remains clear and consistent to all voters in St. Lucia, especially the voters of Castries. Join me and the United Workers' Party under the visionary leadership of Mr. Alan Michael Chasney to right the wrong and to rebuild St. Lucia to improve the lives of our people. I call on all to vote for your safety, your life, your future, your well-being, your children. Vote for the United Workers' Party. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Peter Chiquot. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the next parliamentary representative for Castries East and the man who will finally rid us of that embarrassment called Philip J. Pierre. You know, we talk about emancipation and Emancipation Weekend, and I have a special request for the government of St. Lucia. As a matter of fact, I will direct my request to the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre. Prime Minister Pierre, what I would like to ask of you is that you emancipate our people. Well, first of all, we know emancipation is a celebration of the abolition of slavery for our people after many years. But right now, we want our Prime Minister to emancipate St. Lucia from the corruption that we are experiencing at the hands of his ministers. We want our Prime Minister to emancipate the people of St. Lucia from the fear of gun violence that we experience on the streets of St. Lucia. We want our Prime Minister to emancipate us from the oppressive taxes like the 2.5% levy that his government has imposed on St. Lucians to make life harder for us. We want you, sir, to emancipate us from the high cost of living that you as Prime Minister have presided over. We want the Prime Minister to emancipate us from the high gas prices, even at a time when the international price of oil is going down. We want the Prime Minister to emancipate us from his rogue ministers. And I suspect we will have to provide him with some assistance to do so. I call on Rosh Clarke. I call on Peter Chiquot. And now I'm about to call on another gentleman who will have to assist us in that cause of ridding St. Lucia of those rogue ministers that we now have that is ruining our country and bringing us down a slippery slope. Ladies and gentlemen, everything has an expiry date. It is not nice. You see, you all complain when you all go to the supermarkets and you see things way past the expiry date on the shelf. Don't give us any goods in politics that is long expired. And I'm here to proclaim this evening, Honorable Stevenson King, you have long expired. You have outlived your usefulness. You came as a messenger. You have delivered your message, and now is the time. Now is the time for you to go. Of late, you have caused St. Lucians to call you all kinds of names. They call you the heavy roller, and you thought, well, that was a great thing. But when a roller becomes lazy, already moving at the speed that a roller does, you know what happens. That is why up to now you all can get your Millennium Highway completed. But ladies and gentlemen, I insist that there is hope. And in the United Workers' Party, that hope is bright. Because the St. Lucia Labour Party has brought us to a stage in our lives where we have never experienced it so bad. Chiquot just told you that July, I didn't even realize that, Chiquot. I've gotten so accustomed to people dying every day on the streets of St. Lucia, I've lost count. Now we see people like me, I've always proclaimed that I am not strong in maths. I use all my toes, all my fingers, and I've lost count. So when you say that July was the bloodiest July in our history, I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you. But, St. Lucians, there is hope. Because the United Workers' Party, again I'm telling you, has put together a cadre of men and women, and so impressive is that team that I know, come election day, when you vote them in, they will hit the ground running, and our woes will begin to immediately dissipate. So now I call on one of the giants of that team, a man who is strong enough to push aside a heavy roller that has become a lazy roller. And he will bring back hope and prosperity to the constituency of Castries North. Ladies and gentlemen, the bluff is over. Let's go for the real stuff. I present to you Stephen Fevrier, your next parliamentary rep for Castries North.
Full time for us to centralize, socialize, and realize. To let the sun shine throughout every day. Let the moon shine through the peaceful nights. This is 7-time rise and 7-time fall. But I don't really believe in the falling things at all. Cause life continues as it goes. If you really want to know the truth of the truth isn't being told. No, 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 no. So I said, these are some serious times. All I can see around us is violence and crime. Full time for us to centralize.
Good evening. Good evening, Flabo. Good evening, Castries North. And like Chiquot, let me also give a very warm and pleasant welcome to all St. Lucians, whether you're red, blue, pink, or otherwise. A pleasant evening to you too. Who are we? Who are we as a people? Who are we as a people? And what should we accept from our leaders? What should we accept from our leadership? I ask these questions because a few days ago we had the commemoration of emancipation on Friday, the day which we celebrated the end of what is known as chattel slavery. Every year on the 1st of August, we celebrate our freedom which was only made possible by the 1834 British Emancipation Act, which ended slavery across the British Empire. It brought to an end the most cruel and inhumane period in history. So, it's no secret that the transatlantic slave trade was a particularly vicious form of slavery. And that too has left deep scars that we continue to nurse even today. It is also true that slavery existed before the arrival of the Spanish and the Portuguese in our region in 1492. It existed in ancient Egypt. It existed in ancient Rome. It also existed in China, particularly during the Han Dynasty. But people, do we know that slavery also existed in Africa? From the ancient times, from way back, from over 2,500 before Christ until the 20th century, slavery existed in Africa. In fact, imagine the last country to abolish slavery, to make slavery illegal, was the West African country of Mauritania. And guess in what year they made slavery illegal? 1981. So black people too, our people, have a long history of enslaving their own brothers and their sisters. We have done it to ourselves. Let us for a moment recall the genocide of 1994. It was black people committing mass murder and genocide against other black people in Rwanda. These are the things we have done to ourselves. These are the things we have done to each other. But now, every time I open my phone, I go on social media, I see government officials, even an ambassador aligned with the current Labour Party, stoking hatred, division, and racism in our country. People, we need to be careful of this desperate political tribalism being stoked and promoted by Philip J.P. and his administration and his surrogates. Some are saying that I should not have asked questions about the visit of President Tinubu. Why? Because he's a black man? Others say that I'm a house slave because I support Alan Chasney because he's a white man. Is that where we are now as a country? Anyone can be celebrated in this country regardless of their history, their values, or their contribution once they're black? It is good? How could it be? So, according to the Labour Party, any African is good, but Alan Chasney, who's a St. Lucian, cannot lead this country because he's white? Is this where we have descended? Is this where we are as a country? But for those who question me saying that I'm not black enough because I rightfully ask questions about the visit of Tinubu based on what we already know about him, they're asking questions. We have the right to ask questions. I say to you, I, Stephen Fevrier, I am a proud black man. And I fully and wholeheartedly support Alan Chasney to be the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia. But here it is. Not because he is black, white, or mixed, or whatever, but because he's the best person to lead this country. He is a man who is deeply committed to the progress of this country. He is a proud St. Lucian, and I support his vision for this country. And I challenge my friends on the Labour Party side who accuse me of being an Uncle Tom, a Chasney apologist. Some of them call me house slave. What qualifies you to be more black than me? That's right. Have you ever been to Africa? Have you? Have you ever worked with your African brothers and sisters to strengthen ties? Have you? Have you ever taken your children to the motherland or only to Miami? I know for me, I have been to Africa many times. I have taken both of my children here to the motherland. In fact, before Captain Ibrahim Traoré, there was a Burkina Faso freedom fighter called Thomas Sankara. My last son right there, he's named after him. And as senior advisor to the Director General of the WTO, I dutifully served a Nigerian who happened to be the most respected African leader. Someone I deeply admire and respect, not because she's black or because she's Nigerian, but because of her values, because of her integrity, and because of her contribution. So, St. Lucia, listen to me carefully. Not all black is good, and not all white is bad. Let me say again, St. Lucia, listen to me carefully. Not all black is good and not all white is bad. But you know what? They are spreading hate and division. You know why? Because they're desperate. It is a distraction from the abject failure which the Labour Party government is. Labour wants you, all of us, to forget who we are as a people. That we are a proud people. That we are ambitious people. That we are and can be world conquerors. They cannot and they will fail if they think they could mummize us with racism and try to inject race into our politics. In circumstances where we are literally fighting for the very survival of this nation, they're injecting race into our politics. This is a government that is more interested in dividing than in united. Because in dividing us, they wrongly believe that they can preserve their power and avoid accountability for the damage that they've already done to our country. They want us to focus more on color than on our future. We are a country, we are a people that have undertook the biggest engineering feats in the history of the OECS with the John Compton Dam and the Pigeon Island Causeway. We established one of the first international airports in the OECS. We built roads in areas thought to be impassable. We dredged waterways and we reclaimed lands. We are the people that produced Sir Arthur Lewis and Sir Derek Walcott. We are the country of Darren Sammy. We are the people of Julian Alfred. This is our heritage. This is our kith and our kin. We have produced towering intellectuals who have contributed mightily to the advancement of Caribbean civilization. So, don't tell me that what we see now passing for government in this country is the best that we can do. It is not. We can do better. This is a government that wants power, wants to protect the victory, and constantly ducks personal responsibility. There is no accountability. Is that the best we can do? I can't hear you. Is that the best we can do? We can do better. They say they have no control over the cost of living. The spiraling crime situation. the lack of medical care, the evident maladministration, the billions of dollars in CIP money which has vanished into thin air, the water crisis, the deplorable roads, the fact that there is a gangster sitting in the very heart of our government. I look you in the camera and I ask, is this the best we can do? No. Racism has become official Labour Party and government policy. They respond to everything, to their every failure. If you ask for accountability, the response is, hey, but Alan is a white man. What utter rubbish. What utter nonsense. Is it Alan that destroyed Slasper? No. Is it Alan that sold our passports for nothing? No. Is it Alan who is responsible for the mess at the NLA? No. Is it Alan who stopped the Grosile Highway which has us sitting in traffic for hours? No. Is it Alan who gave away our ports and displaced our people for peanuts? No. Is it Alan who is responsible for the deplorable condition of our roads? No. Is it Alan who harmed our reputation and put at risk our access to United States, the United Kingdom, and the European Union? No. Is Alan the one on the radio and television insulting St. Lucians every Thursday night? No. Is it Alan Michael Chasney? Is he the one who killed Tyson? No. In my time, I have sat at the table with presidents and prime ministers from Brazil to Senegal, from Australia to Iceland, from Peru to Chad, and from Fiji to Chile. I have dialogue with and sat at the very table with the head of the UN agencies, and those people who make decisions on the direction of travel of the global economy. Yes, I have. And what is clear to me is that Alan Michael Chasney is equal to the best of them. Alan Chasney is respected. And he is a man that I will work with to restore our devastated reputation abroad. He will work with our friends and our allies to remove that stain, that cruel stain that Labour Party has placed on our reputation, on your reputation. But we must be alert to the insidious poison that the Labour government and the agents are spreading. These seeds of division will not work. People, listen. If we want to move forward and create a better and more prosperous country for ourselves and the next generation, we must unite. Why? Because you know better, we know better, and I know better, and we all deserve better. And I promise you and I assure you, whether you blue, you pink, you yellow, you red, with this United Workers' Party government under the leadership of Alan Michael Chasney, we will do better. I thank you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will do better. Under this United Workers' Party, with this cadre of men and women, we will do better. Yes. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. When I tell you there is hope, there is hope. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, that race card that the St. Lucia Labour Party is promoting, we have no time for that. It is about, you see, when people are not competent and they cannot put forward ideas, that is what they descend to. But I will say this, you know, sometime during the past week, Yadi referred to me as a house slave. And I say to myself, I would have had a discourse with Yadi if only he was a little more educated in the subject of history. If he was a little more educated in the subject of history, I might have engaged him. But it would be a waste of my time. Because the idiot is talking about black and white. I have no issues with blacks. I have no issues with whites. I have a problem with the man who tries to do me wrong. But I will work in harmony with any man who wants to work collaboratively with me for the better. And I've said it before. One of the people that I consider to be a good friend is a white German. And I have many St. Lucians who are as black as I am, who are my good friends. I have mulattoes who are my good friends. I have people of Asian descent who are my good friends. I do not discriminate on the basis of race. And like Martin Luther King said, it is the content of your character that matters to me. And so when idiots like Yadi want to vilify Alan Chasney because he is a mulatto, I say to Yadi, if only you were consistent, I might have had some time for you. Because when you celebrate Obama, whose father is white, and his father is black, a Nigerian, and whose mother is white, you didn't have a problem with him. When you celebrate Bob Marley, whose mother is black and whose father is white, you do not have a problem with him. When you celebrate Dr. Kenny Anthony, whose mother is black and whose father is white, you don't have a problem with him. Well, I have a problem with none of them, and I do not have a problem with Alan Chasney, whose father is black and whose mother is white. And so when I say to you, people who are not even consistent, who do not even understand their own position, I cannot waste time with them. We don't have time to waste, by the way. We have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. And you know, I'm not into the race business, you know. But if you all tempt me, I will talk about the representative for Castries South too. Only to say that I don't have a problem with him either. You're all asking yourself what I'm talking about. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what I am happy about, and by the way, you know, I will deal with that on my show tomorrow, you know, that whole race issue, the hypocrisy that is taking place here right now. We have never had division along racial lines in this country before, until Philippe Pierre headed the St. Lucia Labour Party, until Philippe Pierre became Prime Minister of this country. A leader should not seek to divide his people, but instead to unite them for a greater cause. And I have a problem with that. I will talk about that on my show tomorrow. I will talk about it on my show tomorrow. Because let me just remind the idiots that was it Stephen who said, what were your exact words about good whites and bad blacks? Not all blacks are good and not all whites are bad. And Stephen, what you should go further to say to people like Philip J. Pierre and Yadi is that in the struggle for abolition of slavery, there were white people in the forefront of that struggle. Just as there were black people who played a part in the enslavement of black people. So, we will talk about that a little later, because you see, clearly, some people know better, like Philip J. Pierre, but for convenience, he tries to latch onto that. I think he's afflicted with a bigger problem, though. I think the fella is paranoid. But we will solve that problem. We'll rid him of his paranoia in soon time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking for not black, white, blue, or yellow. We are looking for some good men and women. I saw some tonight. I heard Joshua Harrow is a United Workers' Party senator. I heard Rosh Clarke, who is the next parliamentary representative for Castries Central. I heard Peter Chiquot, who is the next parliamentary representative for Castries East. I heard Stephen Fevrier, who is the next representative for Castries North. And right now, I think it's about time I hear the next representative for Castries South. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Tommy Descartes, who will now address you.
Like water, a gun in hand, knows no friend, no. Warmongers selling death in my land, getting rich off the souls of we children. Can you tell me when will it end? How many more must carry this load? Oh, how many more? How many more? How many more? Before we trot down Zion Road. How many more?
Good night, Mamai Flabo. Flabo firing on all cylinders tonight. But tonight, I am in a very, very somber mood tonight. You know, as I canvass my constituency and I walk this country, I ask myself, is my country too far gone? I ask myself, is there a point of no return for my country? But you see, when I saw Rosh's contribution, when I saw Peter's contribution, and Peter, I want to congratulate you on the opening of your office. Now, I call Titus the lion of Babono. My brother, my name for you is Peter, the stepping razor, the rock of Gibraltar. I see a man step throughout his constituency. My brother, you will bring the seat home. Now, I call this team what I call the Castries 5. We have Rosh in Central, Peter in the East, Stephen, the diplomat in the North, South. Tell them, Teflon Tom in the South. And we have Guy. Castries is a city that is in need of rescuing. And we have 5 capable men who will rescue Castries. My brothers and sisters, you know, I think it's Rick Wayne who called elections the silly season. You know, everywhere you go, they call it the silly season. They say it's a silly season. But I beg to tell you that this is not a silly season. This is the most serious season in the life of any country. Don't let them fool you and tell you it is a silly season. This is the most serious season in the life of any country, because you make a decision to select who will govern your affairs for 5 years. So, as I walk through the constituency, you get a sense that people say they will buy the elections. That's what I hear. They have money to buy an election. But let me tell you something. Anybody who is in power and resorts to buying an election is their own admission that they have failed the people. Because an incumbent must campaign on their performance, not buying you. So when they come with the money, and that's the government talk about emancipation, but will buy your votes. That adult suffrage that your forefathers fought for will buy your votes, but they talk to you about emancipation. You see, my brothers and sisters, I ask, my country is in trouble. St. Lucia is in trouble. And my message to you today is that when you go to the polls, you are making a very, very, very important decision. What we will be doing when we go to the polls, we will be deciding who we are as a nation. You will decide if you surrender to the venom and hate, race and tribalism that Labour has inserted in our politics today. Or a politics of collective unity and vision for our country. That's what you'll be doing. It's not just about an electoral victory. It's about you deciding the St. Lucia you want to live in. Is it going to be a hateful St. Lucia, or St. Lucia will respect people's views, respect people's opinions? That is the St. Lucia. So when you go to the polls, don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. See, my brothers and sisters, this election is a referendum on the soul of our nation. I repeat it. It is a referendum on the soul of our nation. You will decide when you walk, you get up in the morning, you shower, and you go down to that polling division, F1, F2, F3, and you stand on a line. You will be deciding the fate of your nation. Believe it or not, elections have consequences. You will be deciding whether to succumb to the idea that we are a hateful nation. That's what you'll be deciding, you know. Or whether we are peace, loving, and multicultural society. That's what you'll be deciding on, my brothers and sisters. You'll be deciding whether between hostility and civility. That's what this election is about. So, my brothers and sisters, and importantly, you will have a choice to make between a politics first agenda by Philip J. Pierre or a nation first agenda by the United Workers' Party. Like most of you, I sat and listened to the Prime Minister. 11 minutes and 33 seconds. And I left there deeply saddened. Deeply saddened. What I witnessed was a leader projecting his insecurity and hateful politics on the national psyche of our people. You talk about psychological violence. Well, that was psychological violence. You see, a leader who tries to exploit our collective trauma for his political gain. And the soft bigotry of low expectation. That's the vast difference between him and Alan, you know. Alan believes that this country can stand toe to toe with any country in need. And I saw a man, talking about Bola Tinubu. Now, I will tell you something. I don't want to say anything about Bola Tinubu, except to say that I am an obedient. And for those who want to go and research it, I am an obedient. I watched the elections of Nigeria. It was heart-wrenching what happened. I'll say nothing. But I will thank Bola, by the way. I will thank him. Because the road in the morning, that road on the morning, had it not been for Bola Tinubu, would have never been fixed. So my word to them, Mr. Prime Minister, please name it Bola Tinubu Lane quickly while you're in power. And if I had my way, I would ask Bola to come back again. Because I have plenty of roads in Cicero and Mokitong to fix. Come back, Bola. I have plenty of roads. Now, like Stephen, they call me a house slave, eh? But I want to tell them something a little bit about Tommy. My paternal grandmother was Jamaican, and she was a Maroon. She's a Maroon. So when you see that fire in me, is that Maroon blood that's in my veins? I'm telling you. They call them Negmaos. That's what they call them, the Maroons. My short lady, but fierce. She used to live Marsha, my brother, by the way. Yes, you know her. You should know her. You see, a Negmao is one who's self-liberated. And my brothers and sisters, I, Tommy Descartes, have self-liberated from the sinister politics of hate, victimhood, and self-pity of the Labour Party. I have self-liberated myself. And you, St. Lucians, need to liberate yourself from this victimhood that is perpetuated by the Labour Party. Now, I call myself a little bit of a historian. And in 1982, the United Workers' Party's slogan for the elections was Christians ever, communists never. I want that to sink in, you know. Sir John understood the threat of communism that this country faced in 1982. And I want to tell you the same threat that we faced in 1982, we are facing it here today now. If nobody wants to say it, I will say it. This comrade ideology that has been perpetuated on our nation is a communist, Marxist, socialist ideology. And we will stand against it. And I expect them to be under the lives saying all manner of things about me. But I don't care. You see, the Bible says the righteous, Proverbs 28:1, the righteous are bold as lions. We have lions here, we will say it like it is. You see, communist Marxists, they believe in authoritarian rule. That's why he keeps telling you 70 not, 70 not, because he's an authoritarian in the making. One of the things that have hurt me is that they have weaponized the media against, not me, against you, the people of St. Lucia. What I see passing for the media is sad, Stephen. I watch some things I say, but this is just a mouthpiece for the Labour Party. Yes, a mouthpiece for the Labour Party. And they have sacrificed their professional duty to provide objective information to the people of St. Lucia. But my word to them, history will judge you harshly. Now, they like to suppress, communists like to suppress every dissenting voice. That's why they're busy on Facebook. They have all trolls saying all kind of manner of things about it. One called me, early, they called me the secret weapon. I hope you're ready to deal with that secret weapon. I hope you're ready to deal with that secret weapon. Saying lies. Because let me tell you, what bamboozles me about the Labour Party is that they believe in propaganda. Now I understand politics, you can always play a little thing. Their main strategy is to character assassinate people. I mean, I see Titus come here and they're saying all kind of little nonsense about Titus. I say, man, who would spend their time behind a computer doing that sort of foolishness? And the other thing communists do is that they would manufacture conflict between class in a country. They will manufacture conflict and say there's a white and a black class race conflict. That ain't true, but they will manufacture it. So my brothers and sisters, what they are trying to bring on us is what I call neo-enslavement. New enslavement. You see, there's widespread hopelessness in this country. You know, for you to get a job, you must get the nod from a political operative. You must get it from for you to get a job in this country. There is widespread fear. I meet so many people quietly telling me, I supporting you, but they can't talk, you know. Because victimization is the order of the day. When Philippe said, this year is the year of infrastructure, a second time, I said, no. This year is the year of victimization. That's what this year is. The year of victimization. And my brother come with peer pressure, boy. We under real peer pressure. But you see, communists, what we see now is that neo-enslavement is silence. When corruption is rewarded and honesty is punished. That's what's happening in our country. If we do not make the right, we will lose our soul as a nation. This is the most important election in my not because I'm on the ticket. In my humble opinion, this is the most important election. Make no joke about that. Now, I'll quickly move. I witnessed sometime in 2023 where Vieux Fort was designated an escalated crime area. On March 17th, the SLP enacted a piece of legislation called the Suppression of Escalated Crime Police Powers Act. 3 days later, they officially designated Vieux Fort an escalated crime zone. This, my brothers and sisters, was the greatest injustice done to a community in our country. You know the stigma that is on that constituency because of that? And I will tell you something. In 2013, there was a report done about labor market needs assessment. And what it found was that Vieux Fort had the most needs for jobs than any place in St. Lucia. And a decade later, we saw this outburst of crime in Vieux Fort, this spiral of crime. Vieux Fort don't have a crime problem, they have an economic problem. And we have allowed Kenny Anthony to go scotch-free. Scotch-free. The average young man who is either the victim or the perpetrator of crime in St. Lucia is 25 in Vieux Fort. How long has Kenny been there? 28? All right. But I will tell you where should be designated an escalated crime area, my brothers and sisters. All right. Graham, the 5th floor of Graham Louise building should be designated an escalated crime area. That's where. That is where should be designated an escalated crime area. Serious. There's crimes against humanity, crimes against country. The crime of keeping fuel price artificially high when global prices was falling. The crime of inaction when you could have reduced the service charge on imported goods, and now on the eve of an election, you come in and vegle people. And by the way, I tried to do some of my homework. I went into the supermarkets because I heard this Saturday they're going to unlock. So I went and I found out lentils and chickpeas, and some of them do have the exempt. Didn't see that? And I went back tomorrow, this morning, and the price haven't changed on the exact items. The price have not changed on the exact items. The crime of causing a reputational damage to our passports. And let me tell you something. That's why I'm happy that Stephen is here, you know. I think Stephen is best able to resolve this reputational damage that we have our CIP. I think, and I will tell you something. Let me tell you something. If Labour gets back into power, our relationship with the US will deteriorate further. And you will most likely lose access to the US market. The crime of banning the K9 unit and killing Tyson. The crime of inserting hate in our politics, my brothers and sisters. That is an existential crime. And Philip, you. All right. The crime against the banana fishermen. You know, the gentleman says that these are not fishermen. These are not fishermen. He say I don't know banana. But I know I had all of their fisher ID cards in my hand. Every one of them. Every single one of them. After you wrong, you disrespecting them. And you say, I ain't coming for him, it's Philip. I'll come to you, my brother. I'll come to you. I will come to you. I'll come to you. You know, one is that is very close to me. You see that NLA $80 million loan? You see that NLA $80 million loan? I will deal with it. I will deal with it. I will deal with it. You know, even on the crime thing, you know, we have an acting, do we have an acting police commissioner? He's confirmed now? He's still acting. He's stuck. Okay. Let me tell you something. Criminals do act, you know. I haven't seen a criminal act. When he come and do the act, he's doing the act. I ain't know about criminal acting, you know. And we have an acting police commissioner. And I hear files going missing. I hear all kind of things happening. My brothers and sisters, don't play with that vote whenever that bell is rung. So, when you go to the polls, remember where the escalated crime area was. It was on the 5th floor of the Graham Louise building. And that's why we have the Castries 5. Rosh, Peter, Stephen, myself, and Guy. We will rescue Castries from the hands of this incompetent bunch. So my brothers and sisters, in closing, I want to tell you, the future, no, I hit in T20, I hit in fast and gone. The future is brighter when the future is yellow. The future is brighter when the future is yellow. And some that come out, I tell them, let me tell you something. We bright and we yellow. We bright and we yellow. And we young and we flambo, my brother. So my brothers and sisters, I just want to tell you that this is the most consequential election that we will have to. Do not take it for granted. Thank you and have a good night.
What can I say? Well, well, well. It is well with my party. Very, very interesting speech here today. You know you're never too old to learn. You know, I in politics longer than fellas alive, you know. But I'm learning so much from them tonight. You know, the escalated crime zone is the 5th floor of the Graham Louise building. You know, now when I heard that, I became concerned. I said, boy, if I go there, who will I find there? I don't know, somebody sent to tell me, Philip J. Pierre and Richard Frederick. Well, boy, you say, Josh, we under peer pressure? I'll tell you something. The fear that exists in this country today, we, the people of St. Lucia, must reverse it. We must reverse it. And the people who are subjugated us to this fear must themselves become fearful. Because they have to be afraid of the fact that they are going to lose their seats. And I just found out tonight too, that we need not be fearful. And I have to say it in Creole. Parce que Philippe J. Pierre. But you know, I mean, I am so impressed, and most of all, I am so encouraged and so hopeful. Because I see hope at the end of the tunnel, and I can already see the light of the flambeau. And like Tommy just told you, we bright and we yellow. Yes. I have to make a couple quick announcements. I don't know if that one is still valid. I noticed it on my phone only a while ago, but it's quite a while. Driver of PC 797, please attend to your vehicle. And there is an announcement I have to make, or else I won't be able to go back to Vieux Fort anytime soon. Okay, now this one is coming from the Vieux Fort constituency branch, and it's headed Ignite Vieux Fort with Lady Lee. So the Vieux Fort constituency branch are inviting you to join Lady Lee in an uplifting day of fun, flavor, and unity. That is on Saturday, August the 9th, from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is taking place at the Clear Sky Hotel parking lot in Vieux Fort. Meet your parliamentary representative in waiting, the lady who's bringing hope, unity, and prosperity to every corner of Vieux Fort, and she is going to make history. So let's join her, ladies and gentlemen, on the 9th of August. I also mentioned the barbecue that is taking place on the 31st. Before we end, I will give you the exact address. But getting back to business, ladies and gentlemen, Tommy said that they referred to him as the secret weapon. But when we unleash that secret weapon, your baka is a weapon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to now bring to you a leader in the party of a different kind, a leader in the administrative leadership of the party. You just heard the leaders who will lead the fight for us politically, but I want to call on the administrative leader of the party. I would like to call on, ladies and gentlemen, our party chairman, Mr. Thurl Prudent, who will now address you.
And if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you.
Good evening, good evening. This evening, my speech is not just to flabos like ourselves or laborers. It is also to the wider world of a diverse race that are considering St. Lucia as a place to vacation. A few nights ago, like many of you, I sat and listened carefully to the national address delivered by the Prime Minister, Philippe J. Pierre. And what I heard was not a message of hope or healing. His words were not designed to uplift the nation, but to inflame. In a time when St. Lucians are crying for leadership, for safety, for opportunity, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia chose instead to reference parts of history for political gain. I warned them already. I'm a Ted Beth in history. Don't mess with us. And tonight, we are going to prove our point as persons who can view history in its proper context. Instead, what he did, he targeted an entire community, white St. Lucians, many of whom have no actual ties to slavery, people like Alan Chasney. Many of whom have worked tirelessly and peacefully alongside all of us to build this country. Shameful, dangerous, unacceptable. As people of the New World, our makeup, our racial makeup includes every shade. Black, white, Indians, indigenous persons, and mixed with a diverse strength. But you know, when our leaders fail to honor that truth, they dishonor our nation. And that's what Philippe Pierre did to us when he gave the announcement here on Thursday night. They weakened our collective power as a people. And let me say this loud and clear for the Prime Minister to hear. Alan Chasney is a mixed race St. Lucian. You hear me? Alan Chasney is a mixed race St. Lucian. He is also a son of the soil. Whether you like it or not, he is a son of the soil. He's not a descendant of racist plantocracy that you vilified in your speech, and that you try to make people believe that white people in this country have no place in St. Lucia, which is essentially what he did here on Thursday. But I want to say, yet in this grotesque act of hypocrisy, you ignored that within our own government sit a member of parliament who are with direct descendants of slave owners. I don't have to say much. We know who he is. And he's sitting at the tip of the south of this country. Within your government, your own government, sits a member of parliament who in his private weekly show vilifies and denigrates ordinary citizens of our country, including Alan Shastney. And everybody know who I am referring to. So what exactly are you playing, Mr. Pierre? When will you stop dragging our people through your muck and your outdated and divisive political game, which is what Philippe Pierre is doing to us in this country? Stop using skin color as a weapon. Stop using history as a bludgeon. True emancipation is not about dragging people backward into bitterness and blame. It is about marching forward in unity, in dignity, and in truth. Assez menti pour Jean Saint-Lycée. Nous pas vle tan ces mensonges là encore. The dignity of every human life, regardless of skin color, must be respected and protected. Anything less should be condemned by every political party, every leader in this country, and every citizen who believe in justice. My friends, history has already shown us who the real aggressors are. It started from 1950s, 1960s. Who was in charge? Labour. Who was the chief minister? George Charles. What did they do? They built nothing in this country. They didn't provide water. They didn't provide electricity. Yo pas fait rien by Malawi. But yet still, they wanted to vilify John Compton, who came in 1964 and changed the body politics of this country and also changed this country infrastructurally and in many ways in health. We had a health center by then in every community. The liberalization of education started under John Compton, where we move away from just St. Joseph Convent and St. Mary's College to having a number of schools like Castries Comprehensive School. The liberalization of education started under our care. But what did they do to Compton? What did they do to Compton? They tried to drag him like a dog. They tried to burn his car. He had to keep his foot on the damn accelerator so that they will not overturn his vehicle in the boulevard. Don't forget that. And we will forget. But we will always remind you all of your dirtiness, which is what I am doing this evening. And what did they try to do? They tried to throw fists. And they did. They turned Castries into a plywood city. Don't forget that. Yes, but I'm saying to you, they accused John Compton of not being St. Lucian. The man who brought us all of our development was said to not be a St. Lucian, so his work in this country for the poor did not matter. And so guess what? It's the same damn tricks that the Labour Party often use against our leaders. And guess what? They're giving Alan Chasney the very same things they gave to John Compton. But what is good about it is we will win the next elections. Whether they like it or not, we are going to win the next elections. John Compton built where they neglected. He united where the Labour Party divided. And he stood in Parliament not for privileged people, but for the plantation worker, for the farmer, and for the forgotten and untrodden in this country. This has been the history of the UWP. And don't forget it! This is our history. And when the question of independence arose in 1970 or in the 70s, when we were poised to take our rightful place among nations in the world, it was the Labour Party who said that we weren't ready. Imagine they went to England to tell the British government to deny us independence. Labour Party did that. But thank God for Sir John. Thank God for this visionary who stood his grounds and delivered St. Lucia from colonialism in 1979. And I want you to give him a hand of applause. His memory, a hand of applause. Hadn't our people fought with blood, sweat, and tears for emancipation? Hadn't we endured colonial domination long enough? So you ain't do nothing for St. Lucians from 1951 to 1965. Compton vini échanger cette lycée from 1964, 1979, 1982, 1996. Ekuka dinu, we should not have been independent? I mean, think about it. How much games can the St. Lucia Labour Party continue to play with the minds of the citizens of this country? And even in more recent times, we've seen it again. The destruction of banana industry. Who is in charge of that? Who killed banana? Qui moun ki tue fig? Labour or Pablo di? Qui moun ki tue fig? That's right. Sacrifice at the altar. Bananas were sacrificed at the altar of ambition. Just to bring down the United Workers' Party. A proud St. Lucian industry brought to his knees for power. For power. They're hungry for power so much, they kill bananas. You know? So tell me again, my brothers and sisters here this evening, who is the real party of aggression and of division? Makama do a question. Who is the party of real aggression and division in this country? That's right. Now, Philippe Pierre attempts to break his silence on crime. But once again, he's completely out of touch with the reality on the ground. He blames our youth and says they are victims of inferiority complex. No, sir, they are not. They are victims because you have not provided them opportunity and hope in this country. Our young people are broken not because they are victims of inferiority complex. They are broken because Labour do not have a plan for young people here in this country. Now let's speak truth about emancipation. Emancipation is not just about the past. It must continue to serve the present. Let us bury the bitterness in this country. Let us move beyond the race-based politics that Fevrier is playing here in this country. He's doing it, monsieur, little black boy. But guess what? We all damn black in this country, most of us. But we also have a white population of St. Lucians and Indians that were never enslaved because they came here through indentured servants. That is the history of our country. This is where we are. That's what made us St. Lucians. And so, I want to say to you, just as Sir John Compton once fought for emancipation from neglect from a government that had forgotten its people, that's the Labour Party, so must we fight today for emancipation from racism, from corruption, from crime, from economic strangulation, which is what the Labour Party have this country in at this very moment. This is our St. Lucia. It does not belong to one race. It does not belong to one party. It belongs to all of us. And we all are equally and proudly St. Lucians, including Alan Chasney of the United Workers' Party. And when the next elections comes, let us finally liberate St. Lucia from Fevrier and the St. Lucia Labour Party. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. And before I call on the next speaker to close the show tonight, I want to, yes, already. I want to make a few announcements. And I want to announce that the Grosley constituency branch is having a cake raffle, and you can buy your tickets, $5 a chance. The Labor Day weekend barbecue, once again, is taking place in New York. The time is 2 p.m. on August 31st, and the address is 1127 East 86th Street, Brooklyn, New York. And a little secret, there'll be leaders of the party addressing the people up there on that day. So those of you who plan to go for Labor Day, make sure you find yourself there. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to inform you, talking about the diaspora. I know a lot of them are in fact watching. They are with us tonight. And many people who are not here around St. Lucia. I just want to inform you that on Facebook we have over 800 views. And on YouTube, 1,600. The message is spreading. So just as you see more and more people are attending our lives in person, more and more people are following on live stream. But let me just remind you too, that come this week, those of you who are asking if we ended already, the show will continue for tomorrow night on Like It Is. I see how you like it. So I am bringing another of the giants, the newcomers, to this party on my show tomorrow night. From 8 o'clock, I will be having the guy who is the Ben for the Den, Benson Emil. Benson Emil will be on the show tomorrow night. And on Thursday, well, of course, we have our usual press briefing. I do not know who will be featuring, but for sure one or two of the new guys will be featuring. And on Thursday, I can tell you, I will have yet another of the new giants of the party. I'll be having on Meet the Opposition, Titus Preville, the next rep for Babono. So, ladies and gentlemen, You know Tommy. You know Tommy won me. Tommy won me already. And let me correct myself. We have to resubmit an invitation to Titus to come to meet the government in waiting. Now, you know, back in the day when I used to be a candidate, you know, we used to have some fiery speakers too, you know. And no matter how fiery they were, you call on a guy and he would top that. Let me see him top that tonight. Si guy ni pou top, ça qui j'ai fait ici à soir. Il pas grave venir avec un flambeau et puis nous faire un boucan. Ladies and gentlemen, I see you like what's going on. But talking about boucan, I mean, you see how I'm sweating? The heat is on, the place hot. Now those lies getting so hot now that I said to the party, you'll have to do something about that. Now guess what they're going to do? They say this Sunday life thing getting out of control. What we need now is a rally. So, you heard it from me first. On the 17th of August, this month, find your way to the William Peter Boulevard, where we will be having a massive rally of the United Workers' Party. And my buy no rallies are 17 for 17. Because on the 17th of August, we're presenting you 17 candidates of the United Workers' Party. So make sure you find yourself there. Now, Miku North, we're having Sunday Live at Miku North next week. Now it is important because that is a seat we must bring home. Because Lenu Ale Miku North Dimash, Egnu La J Bosla. Bidding close without prayers. So ladies and gentlemen, you can see for yourself, I know you can feel it. And guess what? The Labour Party is feeling the heat. They know their days are numbered. And we are going to make a massive statement come the 17th of August in the William Peter Boulevard in Castries. So what you see here tonight is just a trailer. Because it will be 17th of August where we present 17 candidates, the men and women who will save our country once and for all. So, ladies and gentlemen, good things have to come to an end. But we have to end it good. So I want to bring you one of the leaders of the party. That's correct. And I said to myself, this is a Castries show tonight. Because they warned me, they told me if you're coming here, you come in to paint Castries yellow because we bright and we yellow. Yellow is the code. So, we have brought you Castries North. We have brought you Castries Central. We have brought you Castries South. We have brought you Castries East. What do you want again? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is one Castries missing, and that is Castries Southeast, where we have a guy who is the right guy, who will be the next parliamentary representative. I bring you the deputy political leader of the United Workers' Party, Guy Joseph.
Come to me wild and wild. You come to me. Give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means.
Mama Flabo. We good there, Mr. DJ? All right. Now tonight, it's good to be in Castries. It's good that we are featuring a team of candidates for the Castries Basin. Now, Spider said something. I really don't want to do better than the candidates who I've heard spoken tonight. When I listen from, and I'm just talking about the candidates, every speaker tonight have been on point. Even Mr. Harrow was on point with his comments. It is telling us that the United Workers' Party is stepping up the heat and we are ready for the governance of this country. I will make reference to some points as we go along, but I bring you special greetings from the leadership of the party and the political leader himself, who is out of state, but we know he follows what is happening. You know, as we reflect upon where we are as a country and as a people, there's a lot to be concerned about. And so, I acknowledge that the United Workers' Party has proven through its able leadership in Alan Michael Chasney that he has put the best possible team of men and women to rescue this country. And if persons had doubts, when you listen to the speakers tonight, when I listen to Rosh, I know that Castries is coming home. When I listen to Fevrier, let me tell you, King knows that he's in trouble. He knows that his days are numbered. And if you didn't believe, when Tommy took the platform, it tells me that I can relax. It tells me I don't have to step up the heat because there's enough heat in the place. But you know what is more striking for me? Is that the future of the United Workers' Party is in good hands. I may look young, but we are the veterans. Spider, myself. We are making way for able leadership in this party. And I will tell you a few things tonight. There's a book I've recommended that you read, The Lies We Believe. But when you get to the latter chapters of this book, it has a chapter entitled, The Truth About the Truth. The truth about the truth. No matter how many times you repeat a lie, and no matter how many persons believe it, it is still a lie. It does not transform from being a lie to becoming the truth by the number of persons who repeat it, neither by the position or the status of the persons who repeat it. So when Philip J. Pierre tells a lie, it remains a lie. When Richard Frederick tells a lie, it remains a lie. And no matter how many people in St. Lucia believe it, it still remains a lie. So under the subject of the truth about the truth, it says seek the truth, listen to the truth, teach the truth, love the truth, abide by the truth, and defend the truth. The United Workers' Party is a defender of truth in this country. In fact, the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, in Proverbs 23:23 says, buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. And so I want you to understand that lies we've examined are in fact faulty and need to be rejected as it is unfit for mental consumption. Lies are not good for you. Mati pa bon pou l'idée ou. I ka corrupt l'idée ou. Nou na prime minister depi ouve bouche li, se mati ka mati. And has been from the beginning, the inventor. Truth has barriers. And I will just touch maybe about 3 or 4 of them. Ignorance is a barrier to truth. Incomplete knowledge is a barrier to truth. Distractions are a barrier to truth. Intellectual pride and forgetfulness. Now, I don't know whether the Prime Minister is forgetful or whether he is a deliberate, compulsive liar. Whichever one. We struggle to remember what we've already learned. That is what forgetfulness is. And it is one thing to forget what somebody tell you, but to forget what you said. Pour même oublier Saudi. The man saying something, now you playing it for me, say pas Saudi. And people laugh about this thing. This is absurd. This is the lowest level that the average man, a mother and a father, will not tolerate that from a child at home. And we have a prime minister lying to an entire nation, and we laugh at that. What a disgrace. What a shame that Philip J. Pierre can look at us squarely in the eye. Ek mati bano. There was a time, like Guamunte du, 4 konte mati fini. Like an 12 Philip J. Pierre still kamati. You see, now there's another one that's a barrier to truth. Intellectual fatigue. Maybe his mind is tired. I think so. Because intellectual doesn't go in the same sentence with this. So, you know, earlier this week, somebody sent me a clipping because I don't listen to Richard. I refuse to feed my mind with garbage. I listen to wholesome things that build me up. This man is a vexation of spirit. So I don't listen to him, but somebody sent me something, and he was talking about me. And yes, as usual, he was talking about me and talking about me being Titus' boss and being Tommy's boss. Listen to me. You all have to understand the strategy of labor is to try and put division among UWPs. Now, you know what I admire about the statement? He can recognize that UWP has such quality men that guy should not be their boss. So, but what he does not understand, we are running no mafia organization. So UWP don't have boss. We are colleagues. That is what we are. So these are my colleagues. When I worked and I was minister, I never saw the staff of the ministry as me being their boss. We are co-workers. We work together for the betterment of our country. So, Richard, you might be a boss man. Guy ain't no boss man. I ain't no dealer. I ain't no gangster. So I am not a boss. I want you to understand that. And I want you to respond to me on Thursday. And when you respond to me, I want you to tell me who paid the ticket for the man who was chopped up and burnt in a drum in England. The young man from Dennery. When you are responding to me, tell me, when the investigation was done, who paid for the ticket? So, Guy and no boss man. So, Tommy don't have to worry about having a boss. Titus don't have to worry about a boss. Even Alan Chasney as Prime Minister, all of us who served with him, served as colleagues. There was no boss man in our government. So, get it right and understand. And in your desperation, I heard you all talking about the office of the special prosecutor, and maybe the laws are not properly written. Well, if you want to write a law, just write a law that says everybody who is innocent is guilty. That's the only way you can get Guy, is to go to Parliament and pass a law that says the innocent is guilty. Because Guy is innocent in all the things you all have accused him. And the desperation of labor. I heard them put out something about the Roseau Dam. Now I have just one line to tell your labor rights. You may have the right guy, but you have the wrong Joseph. So, when y'all want to take me on, take on the right guy Joseph. Not the right guy and the wrong Joseph. And I will leave it as that, and I will await to respond in kind later on. Rick wrote an interesting article about Kenny's farewell speech, if it's a farewell speech, in Viewfort. You remember when he said he wanted no labor rights on his platform? Now, I'm not dealing with the speech, because I want to devote an entire Sunday life to dissect this speech and to explain to you how I understand this speech. But I will say this much. Kenny chose a song we may have forgotten. How can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? You mean to tell me Labour Party has become strange to Kenny Anthony? Huh? Labour Party is unidentifiable to Kenny Anthony today. Because Kenny Anthony knows a real Labour Party would never have Richard Fevrier and never have Stevenson King in it. So he chose a song that sent a message. I cannot sing the songs of Zion in a strange land. Now, you know, it is interesting that this weekend was emancipation. And Philip J. Pierre, maybe the least emancipated person in St. Lucia, would give a speech about emancipation. The man is not emancipated in English or in patois. He is not emancipated in what he says and what he does not say. The man knows nothing. He is not a police. He is not a doctor. But he is a minister and the most readied. I wonder how to spell that re. The re that comes before the did, because obviously the did is not there. We just have the re as a prime minister. That's all we have. Now, you know, I'm not the one who break words into syllables, you know. The man was the one who said 3 words. I apologize. So, if I break down a word that he said, then I'm following. Read it. So, I know that deed is not happening because there's nothing going on in this country for us to be happy about. So we have a rare prime minister. A rare one. But you know what is interesting also? There's no liberation. That's why we couldn't sing the Lord's song in a strange land. You know why? Because Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had invaded Judah and taken the nobles and the people of Judah captive and taken them down to Babylon. And you can read that in Joshua 1. And you know, they were asked to sing the songs of Zion. And they said, but we can't do that. We are captives in a strange land. You know, we need real emancipation. And real emancipation only comes from a united Workers' Party government. You want to emancipate us and is the Nigerian president you brought here? Now he called them on a name I don't even want to call the name he called about. So, you think it's by mistake he called that name? Did you hear the last law? All of a sudden our constitution is not proper. So,
But I'll come to that in a different setting, because I want to address that. So the Constitution is not infringing on the rights of our candidate for Mikud North to exercise his franchise as a St. Lucian to get involved in the politics, because it's the staff orders that have an issue and not the Constitution. But pour yo faire ces gestes là yo ka faire. Pour Federica faire zafay. Constitution not a problem. That all of a sudden the Constitution is incorrect. But we will come to that at another time and another place. What we need in this country is financial emancipation. You see that boss man give me this and boss man give me that? That's modern mental slavery. The dignity of our men at risk in this country. Can you imagine as a man, a father, a husband, un boy beg a lot nom pour soin issue? Rather than create meaningful employment in this country, the Labour Party likes the bossman mentality. That is why they think I'm boss. I am no boss. I'm a worker. That's what I've always been. That's why I'm a member of the United Workers' Party. We are workers. That's who we are. And so, Richard, I look at some words to try and find the appropriate words to describe you. And before they think you call that look scumbag is written right there. You are nothing more than a scumbag El Guapo. And no matter how well you dress, no matter what vehicle you drive, no matter how loud you speak on Thursday nights, it does not change who and what you are. You want to look at the Gentilhomme like Alan Chasney. You know what is Gentilhomme, Richard? And all the pictures you always posting, you posted me with a little child. Lana company mun mi cookie make sure you di mwen pre portrait pi yo. Ek post li as Facebook pour Richard Way. Show it on your show on Thursday and tell them who is in the picture with me. You see, in this country, all of a sudden we have allowed El Guapo to become the conscience of this nation. But that can never be true. That can never be right under a United Workers' Party. You can be the voice of labor, but you can never be the voice of St. Lucia. You do not qualify. There are too many things behind your name and in front of your name. And I'm coming to some of them. I have asked Labour Party this question several times. Yo powe pon mwe nga still madeo. Could a murderer be the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia? Is a question on the St. Lucia Labour Party manifesto of 2011. And there's a faded picture of a black gentleman. He's not a white man. So it couldn't be Alan Chasney. So who is that black man? That the Labour Party was asking, could a murderer be the next Prime Minister of St. Lucia? And you Labour rights out there, I know you're all watching and I know you're all listening. Richard say mezzo tout en labor. But met Richard say Alan Chasney and the United Workers' Party. Because you know what? Steve Tepe, Steve Pate Safaya. Alan Chasney came in and Alan Chasney fired him. So what do you all expect from Richard Frederick when it comes to Alan Chasney? Richard is a bully. And he feel a bully, I said. I said a bully. Pa me a yele sabre dia, pati ye a yele. You see, when they wanted to name something after Chef Harry, Chef Harry said, they're talking about Chef Harry Drive. Il dit, moi-même, ka kwe se bougla kouye moi ici pour un special buy. Nga kwe yo ka di a buy kon Chef Harry Boulevard. Se bougla ka di about Chef Harry Drive. Now, I want you to be serious about some things, you know, because what is happening to us in this country, we have to go back to who the Labour Party is. And I applaud the chairman for taking us down memory lane. I was doing some conversing in Mac today. And you know what happened? A gentleman I met, he told me, you know, the leading people in the banana strikes, none of them had a banana tree planted. You know, all the people who led the citizens for whatever in view fought against DSH, yo pas janvier for. All what Labour does is it pays people to destroy what is good for this country. And Philip J. Pierre, you are in government. When you all prepared the manifesto of Labour, St. Lucia Labour Party, our blueprint for growth. And I always tell you, I've never seen a blueprint in red. And the whole country was in red. And the whole country still in red. Now, here's what they said when they were implementing value-added tax. Government must respond to the growing and changing needs of its citizens. That's on page 13 of the manifesto of Labour Party. Among these are the needs to ensure. So that is why they said they were implementing that. All children from birth get access to quality education. Ou pas still pay l'école by issue. So vat pa de ou an sa. Okay? All citizens have access to affordable health care. Tell me who can afford health care in St. Lucia today. The best of us. Those who work for a decent salary. And even if you have health care insurance, where they pay 80%, the other 20% is still beyond the reach of most St. Lucians. Exu nom, exu fil un l'argent, fait des simen tapion. And then you will begin to understand the cost of healthcare. Here's what they promise. High-risk groups get effective social protection services. Now that is why they implemented VAT in 2012. The population is serviced by an efficient public service. Is the public service efficient? Ask them why the roads are in such a deplorable condition. Ask them why persons can just close a road with no signage, no indication. Those of us who went to Miss Anto's, no, not Miss Anto's funeral, Morgie's mother's funeral in Mikud. Nou ka monte highway à la Richous. Là où il va gap la bo pont kay angoisse. Cimetière wa wè chimè cimetière en bas. You know what happened? You can pass. When I stop, who has the contract? Renault. They have one person there. So I stopped and I said, so you mean nobody could stand by the stadium and tell the traffic you cannot go through Larry shoes because you're all paving the road? You know what? Everybody had to turn, go back to the highway by the George Odlum Stadium, drive through Viewfort. This country, the roads under Stevenson King and the rules, everybody is a boss in this country. C'est pour ça yo kwa mwen san boss, mais mwen had yo ma boss. Anybody can just close the road. You remember Richard just closed the road by Chaussee Road one Friday morning? You remember when, what's his name came? The Nigerian, Shimebawe, black is white. I am just saying that our country, here's what they said, our country has a sound, well-maintained stock of public infrastructure. Tell me where you see that in this country. So I want St. Lucians to pay attention. Yes, we can entertain ourselves, we can have a laugh, but this is the Bible of political parties, the manifesto, what they promise and what they deliver. So if Philip J. Pierre was deputy leader, when you promise all of these things, you mean you cannot sit with that one of them is fulfilled? Now, let me come to El Quapo again. I'm not the one who said it, you know. On page 47 of the Labour Party manifesto of 2011, think of it, St. Lucia. Stevenson King was Prime Minister. Richard Frederick was Minister of Housing. This is what Labour said under the topic more affordable housing. The last 5 years represents the lowest period in our nation's history for the housing sector. And this has been the worst performance of any housing minister. Philip J. Pierre sans honte. Même moun nou di sa about la. The worst performing housing minister, you put him in your office and you made him housing minister. Et qui a built 3 high-rise dennery. The whole of Castries has turned into plywood city. And go up Bois go in the wind Jamaga. Puki sakai like a fe like a fe plywood. So, ika bil pukoy. Mwen wanda la ki moun ki ka bil se kaisa ki ka bil la. You see, I want St. Lucians, we need to open our eyes and come to terms with the reality that what you sow is what you reap. You cannot do otherwise. And I told you, I want all our Flambeau people. Go online, 5th June 2025. Why wouldn't Kenny allow St. Lucians to give him all the love he craves? By Rick Wynn. Read this article. When we will discuss it, you will understand why Kenny did not allow any labor right minister to come on his platform. Now, si se Flambeau qui te fait ça, what would we have to say today? Now, I tell you all, Flambeau, sometimes I have to give it to us too, you know. Because we take too much garbage from labor and bring it into Flambeau discussions. Labor want to tell you who's good for Flambeau and who's not good for Flambeau. So, they call our candidates second-class candidates. The second-class candidates have replaced. Now Labour realize what they call second-class is first-class. So you know, and you know who they realize have second-class? They realize they have second-class, so they're going back to the drawing board. But answer. Today I was on the ground in my constituency. Can you believe how deceitful Labour is? You know what they're telling people on the ground? Guy is not going up. And Lisa is replacing Guy. Do you all understand what is at play? So I want to declare tonight, for those who are still not sure, Guy Joseph is the UWP candidate for Castries Southeast. Now I told you all, I've said to you, and I had it on my phone, you know. Let me see if I can get it. In the biblical book of Judges, Delilah is a Philistine woman known for betraying Samson, the Israelite judge, after being bribed by Philistine leaders. She was offered a large sum of money to discover the secret of Samson's extraordinary strength. Labour Party, when you see people enter the political arena and they enter under false pretense, they enter in the political arena. And St. Lucia, this is not just for Flambeau. Vese moun ki ka vin présenter koyo ba ou akodi se lantewe ou yoni. Some of them don't have 2 5 cents to rub together to their name. Some of them claim degrees and titles that they don't have. You remember the nurse? Il pas même ni un degree qu'on nurse mais dit c'est doctor. I want you to know, and you know, Labour Party will come and they will attack everybody. So they can attack, well, at least they've not attacked Tommy on his credentials. Because Tommy has proven himself not just as a worker in the government of St. Lucia, but at a regional organization. Chiquot has presented himself, and if they could find anything on him as a former head of customs, it would have been out there already. He has an impeccable record as a senior public servant. Mr. Fevrier, a man who has done wonders in the name of St. Lucia, has represented us at the highest level. Now, Philip J. Pierre, these are not rare deeds. These are deeds. Okay? This, you know what a deed is? When you have your deed of sale, your land is yours. So, we are telling you what they have done as successful men and women. I didn't even get to my friend Titus. Titus did not just serve as a permanent secretary. And Labour Party, when y'all want to talk about victimization, that was a man victimized by the Labour Party for years. He was more than qualified to be a permanent secretary. But y'all tried to keep him down. But you can't keep a good man down. And not only did he serve us well, he served that slasper. He served us for a period as cabsec. Yes, you acted a couple times? No? Oh, it was, okay. I like to be correct on what I say, but I'm coming to that. And then he went to the regional organization. And you know the quality of a worker when their boss don't want to release them. You see how long they took to be on the ground? Because boss, we need y'all. But you know what I admire about this team of candidates? The country needs them more. And they understood the call that St. Lucia needs a rescue mission team. And I'm just going to, and when I look at Rosh, what Rosh was able to do, I can tell you about Rosh because Rosh worked in housing with me. And we had projects to implement in Bexon, in Sandife, in Sarot, and it was rain. And you know which person was on the ground making these things happen? Mr. Rosh Clarke. Quite capable as a young man. Dedicated beyond the regular hours of work to deliver for the people of St. Lucia. It was not about building a fortune for himself. It was about helping the average St. Lucian. And I want us to understand, when we talk about a team of persons, when we talk about what we are capable of doing, let me tell you, Labour will say a lot of things about me. They can never criticize my work. Every Labourite in Castries Southeast knows that no other minister has worked harder for the people than Guy Joseph. I was sitting in the balcony of a Labourite qui dit ou ça même si moi ka vote by Labour, personne pour travailler con. Said, you know what I admire about you? Before it started to rain, you had your boots on your feet and you were in Bexon to make sure that the people were protected. That is what UWP brings to the table. So we are not making you fake and false promises. We are bringing you things that we can do. And what a man has done, a man can do. Now, I want to say a couple things before I close. Alan Chasney has done more for St. Lucia in 5 years than the last 15 or 20 years of Labour Party rule in this country. And I challenge anybody. And we're talking about inheriting an economy that Kenny Anthony said something happened that had never happened before. They could not raise money. They could not borrow. And Alan said, give me 3 years and I will fix this thing. And all the borrowing Philip J. Pierre is able to do today is on the basis of what Alan Chasney and the United Workers' Party fix in this country. I want to tell Flabos who want to second guess where we are. The only leader outside of Sir John who has led UWP to a victory at the polls is the Honorable Alan Michael Chasney. Von Lewis got it on a silver platter. He couldn't deliver. Stevenson King got it by default. Spider should have been the prime minister. Maybe we would have still been in government today. You may have any till. Today, Labour Party want to tell you if you want to win elections. Labour want you to win elections? Labour want Flabo to win elections? Labour want to advise us on how to win elections? And you want to take their advice? So, St. Lucia, we have a plan. We've established that we have a plan. And if you are doubting the capabilities of the men and women of the United Workers' Party as you listen to this live, they want to challenge Tommy on economics. Alva knows how to fly at high altitude, but he never knows how to land. Until he runs out of fuel, and he will crash land. That's how he up. Now, Alva is my friend, so I can tell you that about him. Okay? So, the United Workers' Party is clear that there are some things we must fix in this country. And one of them is healthcare. And I've said, I'm not saying like Richard, you know, EDC ou pa fini St. Jude. I pa ran election by Labour encore. Now, as somebody rightly put it, for the next 2 years, every 3 months, there'll be an opening of St. Jude. So check how many openings there will be. You remember what happened with OKU? Big naming ceremony. And then they put padlocks. So, ve sa yo kay fe St. Jude. Pakite sa kwenon. Because they gave Renault's workers work permit to finish St. Jude by 2027. Free of charge. That's how they gave him the work permits. Not $1 to be paid. So a UWP government under Alan Chasney will fix healthcare. We will improve the performance at our health centers and at our hospitals. But beyond that, every St. Lucian will have healthcare insurance under a United Workers' Party government. Crime is another vexing issue in this country. And it is obvious, and Tommy put it best, the escalated crime zone in St. Lucia is in Graham Louisy building, 5th floor. So you expect crime will stop? Crime will not stop. Unless we empty, we clean out what happens on a Monday in Graham Louisy building, 5th floor. And some of us have been there. Spider have been there. When we were there, it was not a crime escalated zone. Huh? But now, the crime bosses meet and they decide what is going to happen. So, a United Workers' Party will fix this. And I feel sorry for our genuine and honest police officers, because we have some very good policemen and women in this country. I want to say, even the police themselves are being victimized. The women who brought their claims, their charges. When a police officer cannot get justice from its own police force, where does that leave the rest of us? And if you speak to these ladies and they tell you what their encounter is and the fight down to keep this thing, and the big people who are behind it So I fully endorse Tommy's statement about where the escalated crime zone is in St. Lucia. So we now, as a United Workers' Party, have to marshal our forces and work together with our law enforcement officers who genuinely want to uphold the law. You see, this business of is a board issuing firearm license in this country, dangerous. If we have a police commissioner and we cannot trust the police commissioner to issue firearm license, why is he the police commissioner? That is the first question every right-thinking St. Lucian needs to ask. So yes, we have to right these wrongs. And the cost of living. They told us about the 70 items. I told you on the program, kokom, tamados, zaboka, gismago. You put all that on the list. Turkey backs, turkey neck. You know, let me tell you, St. Lucia, what Philip, now, I don't know how stupid a prime minister can be to come and boast about that. But Emma should be fired. In a real country, Emma would be fired for that bluff that they put on the people of St. Lucia. And so tonight, as we bring the curtains down on this meeting, I want to touch the point that I wanted to say about Titus. Titus served at Slasper. We've never had so much chaos at Slasper as we have now. You know, up to today, I'm speaking to people. They have goods that came in 3 months ago. Some of it have expired and spoiled on the pot, and the containers have not been destuffed. And now they're making the truckers pay a congestion fee. Did the truckers create a congestion on the pot? And then Stevenson King, as Minister of Ports, brings something to charge $135 EC dollars a day per container for every extra day it stays on the port. And that is passed on to you, the consuming public. You know how easy it is to solve the congestion problem in Port Castries? Just open Port Viewfort and share the cargo half-half. And you solve all the problem. Under a United Workers' Party government, we will reopen and operate Port Viewfort. People want solutions, and we have the solutions. Now, you know that we bright and we yellow. Okay? Tommy told you that. We are not just bright in reflection, you know. We bright up there too. And we have proven that our success is not based on being in government. Lande to abuga gouvernement la. Sel kote yo sa to avaise la. They have never been able to be self-employed or get by in life. Dis-moi qu'on il a jamais travaillé by koi. So tonight, you have a team of Flabo people. And on the 17th of this month, Labor Day you take on the 27th. 27th move to the 10th. 10th like having more than you. So You see, the same way they postponing their meetings is the same way they postponing our liberation. They postponing the development of this country. Flambos, let this rally be the mother of all rallies. When we finish with this rally, we can demand that Philip J. Pierre call the next election. And he said he's going to win all 17 seats. I want to ask him, you have 15 candidates. How you winning 17 seats? Huh? You know, my father always had a statement, common sense beats education. And Philip has neither one. At least if he has it, it doesn't show. So, Mama Flabo, we need to understand, we have to right the wrong for the next generation of St. Lucians by voting the United Workers' Party. Good night and God bless.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the right guy. And before you leave, let me just remind you that next Sunday, we are heading to Micoud North. I don't know what I said earlier, but it's actually Micoud North we are heading to for the next Sunday Live. Tomorrow, join me with Benson Emmanuel, Ben for the Den, Emil, sorry, not Emmanuel. Benson Emmanuel, Ben for the Den, will be on Like It Is. On Tuesday, join us for our press briefing from 10 o'clock in the morning. And on Thursday, the program that used to be Meet the Opposition, join us on Meet the Government in Waiting with Titus Preville from 9 in the morning on Rev Up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you sincerely. We have a raffle downstairs. Before you leave, take a chance. You all take enough chances with the government already. You'll get take a chance on a kick. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank those who are listening in the diaspora all around St. Lucia. And we want you to stay tuned to the United Workers' Party. That's where the action is. That's where hope lies. And that is the future of St. Lucia. Thank you and have a good night. Could you please help us remove the